Hi everyone. Good afternoon, graduates, families, friends, and loved ones. Happy graduation day, and also happy Father's Day, especially to my father in the crowd today. It is my utmost honor to be able to share a few words with you all. But first, please take a moment and sniff the air for a second. No, really do it. Do you smell that? Yeah? This June 15th has an energy in the air, one of celebration, gratitude, and change. For all us graduates here, and in many ways for our families, given and chosen, this marks the end of a chapter and the beginning of a new one. In this life, it can be rare to get a neat moment wrapped in a bow that marks a before and an after. And I'm not saying that today has to be that dramatic. Change is the only constant after all, but it does feel like a gift to have this time of reflection and above all else, gratitude. So, here we go. I was a high schooler in Dallas, Texas, when I first read The Opposite of Loneliness, an essay by Marina Keegan. At the time, I had no idea where I'd end up a year later. UT Austin, Hookham, the East Coast, the West Coast, California even. You know, a girl could dream. Marina's words stuck with me then, and 7 years later, they continue to. She wrote this just days before graduating from Yale, and I'd like to share it with you all today. And please excuse me while I replace Yale with Stanford. All right. She said, "We don't have a word for the opposite of loneliness, but if we did, I could say that's what I want in life. What I'm grateful and thankful to have found at Stanford, and what I'm scared of losing when we wake up tomorrow and leave this place. It's not quite love, and it's not quite community. It's just this feeling that there are people, an abundance of people who are in this together, who are on your team, when the check is paid and you stay at the table, when it's 4 a.m. and no one goes to bed, the haves." End quote. She says that it's not quite love and it's not quite community, but I would argue that we here at COM are a community. We have some incredibly soft community t-shirts to prove it. I sleep in mine often. And if we're extending this notion of the opposite of loneliness beyond McClatchy Hall's sandstone walls right here behind us, I would say it's something this department has instilled a desire in me to spread. To me, the opposite of loneliness captures this recognition that each passerby is living a life as intricate and as vivid as your own. This means you quite literally cannot be alone in this life experience. Everyone is doing it as messily and as butterfly affected as you are. It's a profound realization that does have an official name. You can look it up in the dictionary. It's called Sonder. Sonder, or the fact that a stranger's life is as complex as your own, may seem an obvious truth. But what I believe brings all of us together here today is a shared love for this complexity. In some way, we all have a love for stories, for each other's stories, and for the practice that is the conveying of them. But why do we tell stories? This question remains. You know, the journalists among us may say we tell them to keep the balances checked for freedom. Some of our researchers may have a 100-page dissertation on why we tell each other stories to govern in a certain way, or why we tell stories differently in virtual realities than in the reality we're in right now. The why to storytelling has as many answers as there are creatures. Whales do communicate too, and quite majestically, may I add. But I like what Joan Didion wrote, short and sweet, we tell ourselves stories in order to live. I don't know exactly why my grandparents told me their stories, but I do know their impact. Yeah, my grandmother who is with us today. My grandmother who is with us today told me tales of growing up in post-war Greece, impoverished, brave enough to venture in search of something new. I can draw a direct line between her stories of immigrating with my grandfather to the faraway land of Texas and my dream to obtain the education I have been blessed beyond measure to. She walked miles every day for a decade to work at a church's chicken for the health insurance. Papu painted houses for years. Their stories anchor me. They make me someone who will never forget where and whom she came from. Someone who wants to spend life communicating others' resilience, whether through stories of immigration, incarceration, or mental illness. So I know that I am special, but also beautifully I am not. Sonder hits me hard when I'm in a plane and watch little cars on the highway turn into ants. Sonder is hitting me hard today as I see so many chairs lined up in front of me, living lineages of the stories before them. Each of us graduates have lived our own story here at Stanford, some a year, some 6. PhD students, I can relate to one with a pandemic-shaped start. Mid-college gap year included, I've spent a quarter of my life at this place. Of course, the future, thus, is scary. But I hope that we, as communication graduates, can lean into, dare I say, even embrace this uncertainty. This complexity and uncertainty ahead, both in our individual tales and how they will intertwine. You know, I feel like when we came to Stanford, there was this infinite sense of possibility. As Marina continues in her essay, and I quote, there was this immense and indefinable potential energy, and it's easy to feel as though that slipped away. We never had to choose, and suddenly we've had to. Some of us know exactly what we want and are on the path to get it, already going to med school, working at the perfect NGO, doing research. To you, I say both congratulations and you suck. End quote. I'll say that for most of us, however, we're still figuring things out. What's our next path? Did we choose the right one? Will AI steal our job? George, I hope that I'm right on this, but AI will never be as human as us to feel Sonder like us. Even if we are the ones who have next steps figured out, life will life and uncertainty will find us again. That insane potential energy, y'all, we really don't have to lose it. We, out of everyone on this campus, should know that the way we communicate shapes who we are. I hope we can communicate to ourselves in a way that affirms that we can always grow a different direction. You know, we can always change our minds or start over. And I know that's easier said than done, but you know, it'll make a hell of a story, hopefully. A final thought. So just about 2 weeks ago, all the change was kind of hitting me at once. Honestly, I was a mess. I was in complete disarray. So I did what I do often when I don't know what else to do. I got in my Subaru and I started driving. I started driving with Yaya, my magical grandmother, in tow. And she is a woman, to quote Henry David Thoreau, has sucked out all the marrow of life better than anyone I know. So I took a right onto Page Mill Road and drove us to Foothills Nature Preserve, just about 6 miles up. So I'd been to this viewpoint before. It's over the hills, beautiful, highly recommend. But I'd forgotten that there was a bench there, a wooden bench with a plaque that reads, Jim Hildebrand, 1942 to 1997. Make mistakes, ride lots of merry-go-rounds, pick plenty of daisies, and remember, love is the center of the universe. Now, Jim, I don't know who you are, but thank you for intertwining with my path right when I needed it most. See, guys, Sonder. So what life did Jim lead to be so wise? You know, I don't know, but I am thankful for it. So, to my mentors, thank you for believing in me steadfastly and with your own wisdom. To my friends, over there and some over there, thank you for inspiring me in each of your own ways and making me laugh in each of your own ways. And to Mama, Papa, and Yaya, and the rest of our family, those with us, and those who vlepo na papano, what would I do without you? I'm a writer and a yapper at heart, but I cannot find the words in English, Istalenika, or in Greek, to thank you. Without you, literally none of this would be possible. Thank you for every sacrifice, every phone call, and every plate of food left waiting for me. I love you more than words can express, and this is yours as much as it is mine. Okay, finally, to the class of 2025. Stay fun, y'all. It's been a wild, beautiful ride. We did it!
Thank you, Anastasia. You know, we just have extraordinary students here, and I should have said this earlier, but you know, Anastasia has been working on storytelling, community building, mentorship. She's She majored in psychology with a minor in creative writing, as well as being a journalism student here at Stanford. She's an extraordinary woman, and I'm going to just walk you through some more extraordinary lives as we work together. Next up is an exciting time. We're going to talk next. Get through my list here. About awards. Before we get to the awarding of degrees, we need to recognize several students for particular excellence in their work. This year was an incredible year on the PhD side. We had PhD dissertations that will become books, that will become papers, that will change fields. And we give an award each year called the Nathan Maccabee Dissertation Award for exceptional work in a dissertation. And this year we in fact have 2 of them. And I'm going to read the citations for both and then ask one of the winners to stand. The first winner is Daniel Axelrad, who